Hello, and welcome to Train Signal. My name is Rhonda Layfield, and you're watching the Windows 7 Deployment Training video set. In this lesson, I'll introduce you to the Microsoft deployment tools. And I think one of the most asked questions that I get is, which tool is right for me? When do I integrate the tools together? And here's the biggie, where do I start? Which one do I install first? So I'm going to make sure you're very, very familiar with the answers to those questions throughout this course. I'll give you a little bit of information about myself and, of course, even more importantly, about the course and what you can expect to learn from this course. Before you begin, there are some little networking things that you should understand. So I want to make sure that you're familiar with some of the infrastructure pieces that we're going to use throughout this course. And if not, I'd like to recommend some of the other Train Signal courses that cover these in great detail. Then I'll finish up with the best ways to use this course. First, introducing the Microsoft deployment tools. Well, there's more than one, I can tell you that. You've got the Windows Automated Installation Kit, the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit 2010 Update 1, Windows Deployment Services, and last but definitely not least is Config Manager, or you might have heard this called System Center Configuration Manager, or if you've been in the industry as long as I have, it was the good old SMS Systems Management Server. Now, most of these tools are free downloads from Microsoft. Config Manager is the only one that's a paid-for solution, so everything else for your business scenarios will just cost a little bit of time to learn it, but no monetary values associated to the tools themselves. The business scenarios we're going to start with range from small 20-computer deployments, mom and pop shops, to 20,000 computer deployments that span multiple continents. So I want to show you when you would use one tool over another. And we'll start out with just our little Wired Brain Coffee Corporation. There we have about 20 computers. And then move into our larger corporation, Green Lizard Books. That's the big guy that spans multiple continents. So I'll show you how these tools can be used in small environments and in larger environments. Now, one of the big issues I'd like for you to keep in mind when you're looking at deployment tools is don't simply think about how to get that initial image out there and deployed, but think about re-imaging as a troubleshooting step, which we all use today. Little information about myself. I've been in the IT industry for quite some time now. In 1982, I joined the U.S. Navy. And of course, to join the Navy, you take a test and they tell you what you would be good at. They said, oh, you'd be good with computers. So that's what I've been doing ever since and loving every single minute of it. I write articles for Windows IT Pro magazine. I also present at their conference, Windows Connections. I present deployment technologies around the world for Microsoft Tech Eds and Tech Days. I'm a Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, good old MCSE, and I've been an MCSE since NT351. In fact, I've taught the MCSE courses since NT351. I'm also a Setup and Deployment MVP. What's nice about being an MVP is once a year, all the MVPs are invited to Redmond, where we get a chance to sit down with the product groups that actually develop the tools that we use. And it's so nice to be able to sit down and ask questions like, why did you create this tool in this fashion? And to get an intelligent answer, and then it makes sense. So it's really helpful to have that level of relationship with the deployment teams. I'm also a Desktop Deployment Product Specialist, or DDPS. A little information about this course. I'm going to start by helping you determine which of your existing machines are Windows 7 compatible, which can have Windows 7 installed, and which are never going to make it. And if they're not going to make it, why? What needs to be replaced on that machine in order to get Windows 7 installed on it? Then we're going to take a look at our software applications and find out which of your existing software applications are going to run on Windows 7, which will have problems, what the problems are, and possible fixes to those issues. Then I'm going to shoot right into getting started with the Windows 7 deployment tools. We'll start out with the Windows Automated Installation Kit and build from there. Using the Wake, I'll show you how to automate and manage your deployments so you get consistent, identical deployments on every single machine. Your help desk will thank you for this. I'll also cover troubleshooting tips on each one of the tools as I go through it. not just troubleshooting, but tips and tricks to steer you clear of having to troubleshoot misconfigured parameters that could possibly waste days and days of troubleshooting time to get your deployment solution set up and running. Before you begin, there are some networking basics that you should understand, like what an IPv4 address is and what a subnet is. There are also basic Active Directory terms I'm going to be using throughout this course, like Active Directory sites and organizational units. TrainSignal offers courses on group policies, Active Directory, TCP/IP, and networking fundamentals. In the networking fundamentals, you'll find information on services that I'm going to be using as well. Some of the services, DNS. Anytime you have a Microsoft Active Directory domain, well, the biggest requirement is you must be running DNS. So, networking fundamentals, you should understand a little bit about DNS and how DNS allows your clients to find your domain controllers for authentication purposes. The other service that I'm going to talk about quite a bit with each one of the tools is the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, or DHCP. If you're not familiar with those, take a few minutes to back up, go grab the Networking Fundamentals or TCP/IP or whichever course you need to get a refresher on, go through that, and then this will make a lot more sense to you. How to use this course. I highly recommend not skipping lessons and just going to the one lesson or the one tool you want to use. And the reason I say this is because the Windows Automated Installation Kit, or WAKE tools, are used in almost every single product. And if you don't understand how they work under the hood, you're never going to troubleshoot any of the other products successfully. You can waste lots and lots of time. So I really recommend don't skip lessons. Go ahead and start from the beginning and scoot through each one of the lessons. I promise it'll make your life easier in the end. This course will help show you how to set up both a test and a production environment. In fact, the steps are the same. But I do want to mention, everything should be set up in a test environment so you have absolutely no surprises when you move into the production environment. And even when you do move into the production environment, you want to start with a small control group. And as we all know, that's usually the IT staff. They're definitely going to let you know if things are working or not. The information in this course can be used in both the real world and studying for certification exams. Now that we have talked about what's in the course, let's get started. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to sharing my deployment knowledge with you.